Yeah, light source engraving. We in the house, yo. Put your glasses on, it's about to glow. Laser beam sharp, cutting through the night. Welcome to the show where we do it right. We're the craftsmen, dreamers in the lab with precision, carving out designs with a perfect vision. From wood to metal, etching so essential. Art and technology, potential exponential. Website shining, but beacon in the dark. Lightsource.pro, where you leave your mark. Projects on display, creativity spark. Our ratings are going off the chart. Got a vision in your mind, we bring it to reality. From custom jigs to focal sticks and tables for your rotary. All with the precision of Swiss clockwork. 3D printers bring it to help complete your work. Burn to learn, share far and wide. Light source engraving, we're not gonna hide. YouTube videos to epic live streams. Crafting with lasers, helping fulfill dreams. From files to accessories, our work is supreme. At Light Source Engraving, we're the undisputed king. Check our channel, see the lasers dart, pay close attention. Catch every glance with tips and tricks. Learn something every day, crafting new stories in a spectacular way. We the kings of flame, etch anything you bring. Blast the leather, watch us do our thing. Custom gifts, the business lift, we handle it all. Watch your ideas rise, never see them fall. Burn to learn, share far and wide. Light source engraving, we take you on a ride. YouTube videos to epic live streams. Crafting with lasers, helping fulfill dreams. Burn to learn. Burn to learn. Burn to learn for life.
Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully. Let me know if you can or cannot. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Let's see. Oh, and of course I'm connected to the wrong internet. That's all right. We're going to live with it for the moment. I'll try and switch over maybe once I get to Lightburn screen. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully everybody has maybe a day off tomorrow or at least a long weekend. Jeff. Let's see. Simon, Nipa, Da Vinci, Soak and Ray, Sharon, Kenny. Let's see. CC, Roger, Kenny, Kai, Greg. Awesome. Freezing. Okay. I'm going to switch to my other network and that should fix it. Hopefully now's better. We'll see. My laptop was connected to my other network, which isn't the fast network. So this is what's running StreamYard and the A10 Mini at the moment. And if you notice, it's not flickering. I was having serious flickering issues to the point where it was unwatchable. So I had to run upstairs, grab my laptop, get it plugged in. I still can't find the mouse for it. But I got it plugged in and it's working. And then I have Lightburn on my desktop. So it's working. So I still have that. So now I can show you how to create this saw. And what I do with it, I just had it. Okay, here it is. So for my test saw, what I did is I used 6 millimeter birch. So there's two handle pieces and then just the main centerpiece. Don't focus on my eyes. There we go. Then I use the laser to shade in the saw blade. Then, of course, engrave the text. And then I use the laser to shade the saw handle. So what this plywood looks like before is this, and after is this. So there we go. Audio's not in sync with the video. What would cause that? How about now? Any better? Maybe. Okay. We're good. So if I have time, I'm going to go through this pretty quick because I don't want to step on Clack Shack and Ventari's live stream that starts at 8. So I want to get through this before 8 o'clock and end it because I don't want to cut into their time. Audio is delayed. Well, hello, Jeremy. Burn Carve Print. Jack. All right, cool. And so I don't know if I'm going to have time to actually make another saw on the laser, but I can at least show you how to design this pretty quickly. So let me just switch over to Lightburn and we'll jump right into it. Here is the saw that I created first. And I did it all from scratch here in Lightburn. Have you guys used the pen tool very often? Because with the pen tool, let me see. I'll do something that'll show up. What color would show up best on screen for you guys to see? Pick a layer, any layer. Orange, maybe? Does that show up? Purple? Red? Red might be the best. Orange? All right, we'll go with orange. So with the pen tool, you can obviously do straight lines. And you can do curved lines because you click and drag, it'll start to create a curve. So then you can make this curve wherever you want. And if you click and drag, you can adjust where that curve goes, right? And if you keep clicking and dragging, you're going to keep getting curves. Now, if you click and don't drag, you're going to get a solid anchor there that's not curved. So what we want to do is we want to start by creating the inside of this handle. And all I did was just looked at a saw that was hanging on the wall here at the house and just mimicked it. So I'm going to use the pen tool, but we're not going to worry about making curved lines at this point. So we don't need to make it exact. We can go back later and fix it with either node editing or the radius tool. So I'll show you how to do that. But basically, start with, I like to have the crosshair on the center of my work area. So I'm going to use this just to start making the inside of the handle. Well, I'm back to black. Hold on. Let me get back to red. Orange. Oops. Let me unselect everything here. Then we'll go to orange. All right, so here we go. When you're using the pen tool, if you hold shift, you get a straight line. So I'm going to make that perfectly straight. And we're going to angle out, then angle back in. And we're going to straight line over. And then this is going to curve inward, so we can just angle it in at whatever angle you like. And then we want to connect it. I have this in the window filled smooth, just so I can make sure that those connect, because whenever the line actually connects, you'll see that it fills in. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Hit it. Redo add line. All right. Now we want to make the outside of this handle. So I just pick a spot that's I like went at it from about a 45-degree angle and like, well, this looks about the right spot, and then just kind of traced around. And then we can move and adjust as we need to after we get this basic outline created. And like I said, don't worry about making curved shapes at the moment. Whoops. We've got a severe thunderstorm going on right now, and the power just flickered. So if I disappear, it's because the power went out. So here we want to make a triangle. And then we want this to come out. And then we want to go back here. I'm just kind of using the grid lines as a guide to here, and then a triangle. Then another triangle with your triangle shape, and then just make sure it connects. So then we have our basic outline of our shape here. So now I'm going to show you what we can do with the node edits to fine tune how our shape looks. So go to your node edit tool, and then we can just start making that flat where we wanted it to begin with. Then I didn't put it as a straight flat line. And then let's see, if we go to this line, you'll see we wanted to make this curved. Uh-oh. Okay, can you hear me? I think I'm back. Sweet. Hey, Steve, what's up? All right. If it's a little blurry or choppy, I apologize. We are under severe thunderstorm warnings at the moment. So give me a second here. Let's see. Oh my gosh, the Weather Channel website sucks. Knew there was a reason I didn't use it. And it keeps wanting to give me Pittsburgh. All I wanted to do was show you the local radar. Whatever. All right, let's move on. Yeah, it looks pretty nasty outside, so I'd imagine the radar looks equally nasty. I keep looking this way because I can see out my garage door outside and see how nasty it is out there. It's nasty. Anyway, where did I leave off? Somewhere in here. Oh, I was going to go ahead and fix these two nodes here. So if you hover over it and hit S for smooth, and then this one's the same way. If you hit S for smooth, it'll convert that to a smooth line. So right there, you have your curve for your handle. And let's say we weren't happy with these corners and you wanted those to be a little thicker. We can move those nodes in, make it a little thicker, and then move this and give it a little more curve. So just make it however you want to make it look however you think it looks best. And then for these points here, we wanted to make these, if you start with those, just the hard angles like that, then all you have to do is go over them, hit S, and then we can move these and make them look much better just by hovering over it and hitting S when you're over the node to smooth it out. And then you could just make those approximately match just by moving your node over. And let me get off of this so you can see it. So already it's starting to look more like a handle. And then you can leave these as sharp angles if you want, or if you want to give them a little bit of a radius, you can just set it to whatever you like here. So let's put it at a 5. And then we can hover over those nodes and you'll see it, the pointer change to the crosshair with the little radius on beside it. You can click those and it'll just give them all the same radius. I like the inside of the handle to have the sharp angles and the outside to be curved a little bit. And then you can adjust those to whatever radius you like, make it look however you want to. Anybody have any questions so far? Because now I'm going to start on the saw blade. Again, we go back to the pen tool. And I'm going to use these guides. So let's start here for our first mark. And then Make the blade however long you want. Hold shift and you'll get a nice straight line. Then going down, if you hold shift, you'll get a nice straight line down. And then just angle it back to your saw however you want. And then once you have that third point clicked, just hit escape. Because at that point, that's all we need. Oops. So now we have the basic outline of our saw blade. Then what I'm going to go ahead and do is just make a small circle. Like that. And then go ahead and put in where our hardware would go. So approximately this corner, halfway down, and then the bottom. Then I'm going to just Control C and line it up, Control V and Control V. So it's just copying and pasting. And you can pretty much put those wherever you want. Now I'm going to switch to wireframe mode because I want to group these together. So group your hardware together. And then I'm going to change them to a different layer because we want those to burn with a different setting. So go ahead and change them to a different color. Finger slits in the handle. I mean like grooves for your fingers to rest in? Sure, you could do that. All right, now what I want to do is grab our saw blade outline and just the outline of the outside of the handle. And I want these to become two shapes, or two shapes to become one shape. And I don't want this line in here. And you can't use the Boolean tools because it's not going to do anything. And if you join the shapes, it's not going to join properly. So what I do is an offset. Because if we do an offset, it's going to produce an outline you can see here of the saw blade and the handle. Outer shapes only. So I'm going to do is hit OK. And then I'm going to go back in and this inner one here that it created for the saw blade, delete it because we don't need it. Let's see that again. Right here is the inner one. Whoops. Let me ungroup it first before I delete it. So here's the inner outline for the saw blade. We do not need that. But we do need to do, so here's our original saw blade and here's our original handle. We can go back to this offset that we just created and offset it again. But this time we're going to offset it the same distance, but inward. And we can delete the original because we don't need it and hit OK. And now we have one complete piece, and it should be resting here on top. I'll change it to a different color. We'll make it green. Now we have the green piece that's the outline of our saw blade, right? Saw blade and the handle. So let me move that back. So now we need a second inner piece of the handle so we can cut this whole shape out. So I'm just going to hit Control D and the duplicate selected. Then I'm going to change the duplicate to the same color as the other outline that we just created, which was green. Then I'm just going to go over here to the layers and hide the orange one. There. Hide the orange one. So this is green. This is green. I'm going to change it to a different color because I can't hardly see that green. Let's go with this one. There we go. So this is the shape that we'll need cut when we do the complete uh, cutout of the saw. So Control G, group those two together, and now we have one saw blade and handle. This will be cut out. So what I'm going to do is Control C and Control V, and I'm going to paste this over here just in case we need it later. In case I screw up, then I'll have a backup copy. All right, so now let's bring our orange back on the scene. And at this point, we do not need let's see. Actually, we will need no, we do not need this saw blade at this point. But I'm just going to move it off to the side just in case I need it. All right, so let's get this handle lined up. Just use my arrow keys, make sure it's lined up. So now I want to grab the handle plus these holes. To just hold shift and click. And now that we have those, I'm going to Control C and Control V. And now we have our handle with the holes, and we'll need 2 copies of this, one for the back and one for the front, as they layer on the saw. And I'll bring that back on screen again. Let's see. So we need 2 copies of the handle, one for the front and one for the back. As you'll see, it's 3 layer. My glue job was terrible, but I was rushing. So now I'm going to paste another one. So just Control V, and then mirror that one since it's going on the back. So there's our 2 handles. So those are done. So we know they're good. Now all we have to do is the teeth for the saw. Teeth are pretty easy. Basically, make yourself a triangle. So we use our polygon tool. Drag that out. Go to shape properties. Make it 3-sided. And then I just bring it up here and approximate what I think the sawtooth should look like. So say we want it like that. And then I will add a radius to it right here on this node. Hold on. Before you can add a radius or node edit, what we want to do is edit, convert to path. Now we'll be able to edit the corner radius. And obviously 5 is too high. So if you click it again, it'll just take it back to what it was. So let's take this down to 2 and we'll try it there. And I don't like that. So a radius of 1 is what I used before, just to take the edge off. And then what I like to do is try to line this up approximately right here. Because we're going to go the whole width of the blade with these teeth, but it's at an angle, so it's going to need to be a little bit longer than the blade itself. widthwise without the angle. Everything's still sounding good, hopefully. Anybody have any questions? And at this point, I'm just going to go to the array tool, and all we want are columns. Padding between edges, set it to 0. So your spacing is 0 here. And then just make columns until you fill up the saw blade. So that looks pretty close. Let's just see how good of a guess that is. And at this point, what we want to do is rotate this to the same angle as our saw blade. And we can work with that amount of teeth. We can just have a little area with no teeth at the front or at the back. And once you have this at approximately the same angle, if it's not exactly the same, it's not going to make that big of a deal as long as we get this whole array crossing over. But I'm going to adjust it just a little bit more. That looks about right. Now, I use my arrow keys. My way might not be the absolute best way, but all I do is just arrow up so that I make sure that each one of these triangles is actually crossing over that line from the saw blade. That's because what I want to do next is hold the outline of the saw blade down. Wait, first, let's ungroup this. Then grab your teeth. Then grab the outline, just the outer outline of the blade. Then we can use our Boolean tools and weld that all together. Then go back and grab that and group them. I'm going to change it to red because that's our cut line. So here we have our cut line for our saw that will cut the final saw blade out. So we have piece number 1 or layer number 1, which is our cut layer. Then we have to just make one more adjustment so we can get the template of the saw with just the blade. And that's pretty easy to do. Any questions so far? I'll wait, see if anybody has any questions. All right, now what I want to do is grab a spare copy of the outline, and then I'm going to Control C and Control V, a copy of the handle outline. Then we want to line these up. So just make sure they're perfectly lined up. I normally just use my arrow keys and nudge them right into place. And then we can grab the first outline and then shift click the second one and tools, cut shapes, and eh, Oh, let me ungroup that. Did I use cut shapes last time? I can't remember what I used now. Oh, maybe I used the Boolean tools. Nope. These aren't perfectly lined up. That's the problem. So I'm just going to click on the docking, and that should have docked that Hoover top. All right, I think that should be a perfect. Now let's try this again. Rain's starting back up again. I was looking outside. Sorry, got distracted. Hopefully it doesn't start pouring it down again. Now I lost my train of thought. Where's that at? Oh, that's right. It's my desktop and it's gonna flicker like crazy. I'm gonna try to get back over to the laptop here in a second. Yeah, see how bad that is? Just because I have Lightburn up. If I minimize Lightburn, it stops. All right, this is going to be a temporary switch over back to the laptop. So it will look like I'm going for a second, but I'm not really going. All right. Hopefully you can hear me and there is no flickering. And Jeff is spot on with the punny jokes. I love it. That always makes me happy. No, it's just the darn power flicker screwing everything up. Okay. So the last time I did the offset, we wanted the outer shapes. Now we're going to want the inner shape that it creates. So if I group these and then do an offset of both, no, that's not. Why is it being so difficult? You know what? I think I did this step earlier. Too distracted by my that's all right. I know exactly what we're going to do. That's exactly what I did. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Too many distractions. Too many lambs. Okay, now here we go. That's why I kept this. But when I did it before, I already had the teeth on it, I think. That's no big deal. So I'm going to offset this outward. And you'll see where it's creating the offset. There's inward, there's outward. So it's offsetting by 0.25, right? Remember that. It's offset by 0.25. Now I'm going to grab the saw blade and I'm going to offset that inward by 0.25. Offset inward, finally, by 0.25. I'm not going to delete the original objects though. Now we have these two objects, and then I'm going to grab the saw blade outline and then grab the handle outline second. Tools. Why does it keep doing that? Not sure what it's doing. A, that, that. I don't know. I lost my train of thought earlier with that damn storm. I think I skipped a step. So, what questions do y'all have? Somebody's got to have a question. On the bright side, it looks like the storm's let up for a little bit. It's not as dark out as what it was just a little bit ago. Anyway, here we have, at least we have this piece we don't need, and you won't need these. You can do whatever you want with those. We have our two handle pieces that we'll engrave. Main saw blade that will be cut out. Then you can add your text inside this saw blade. We don't need that piece either. It's hiding. And that's basically all you need to complete the engraving for this thing. What did I do to the blade shading? Let's see. Let me find what setting I used. Actually, that was in a different file. I'll pull up the different file and show you exactly how the settings I ran for the blade shading. So you can shade this whole area and then cut it out. So just do a fill and line after fill, and then that will shade it and cut it. Let me see. I just need to find my other file here. Hold on a second. Should be recent. Let's see that. Yep, here it is. Okay, this is the layer that I used to shade the saw blade. And this was running with the 30-watt laserMATIC, a speed of 20,000, power of 60, bidirectional fill, interval of 0.25. Yeah, there's no pattern. No pattern at all. I'll bring that back on screen here in a second. And I did keep it from shading where the text is located. See that? See how when I move that out of the way, then it's actually going to do the shading where the text is located. The only thing I did there is just created a second text layer. Let me not show that. Oops. Let me hide that text layer. So you see it skipped over the text when it was doing the shading on the blade. And the only reason is I just duplicated the text and put it on the blue layer. That way it would not run the text during the shading part. It just skipped over it. If that makes sense. Oh, thank you, V. That is awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Okay, so here's the blade again. So that was the shading. And if you guys didn't catch this earlier, the blade is shaded, the handle's shaded, and that's just done with the laser. So this shading on the blade done with the laser and what it looked like beforehand, before I ran the settings that I just showed you, is this. Just by running the shading, it brings out the grain of the plywood, makes it look real nice. Well, let me show you the setting that I ran on the handle. Let me show you that one. As you can see, the handle is here in black. And that was 25,000 millimeters per minute, 80% power, bi-directional fill. The line interval was 0.08, but I ran it tighter, faster, higher power, and it produced that darker brown shading. Hopefully I can go back and chop this video up and make the take the power outages and technical issues out and just upload it as an episode. Then you'll have a decent guide to go back and watch. But yeah, that's this is a fun little project to do and just build everything from scratch in Lightburn. But the main thing I wanted everybody to learn was that you can start with your pen tool, and even if you're not the best at making curves and tracing out shapes, if you're not the best at making curves, right, you can still get the basic outline of whatever shape you're wanting to work with. And if you saw that, when it's going to connect, it changes to the crosshair. If I can get it to do that again. Oops, lost it. Get that to change the crosshair. There we go. Then, oops, you can node edit. Node edit. There we go. Go to this one. Now, if you hover over the node edit, it'll show you a list of commands that you can use when you're hovering over a node or line, and it'll tell you what they do. So the S is the smooth node. So once you smooth it, it'll put a curve on the line, and then you can adjust these handles to adjust what the curve does. So keep that in mind if you're tracing a picture of a saw blade or an axe, if you're going to engrave an axe, or you're just making a template for anything and you're tracing over a picture, you can do it in Lightburn. Get the basic outline, then just fine tune it with node editing and moving those handles around. And you don't need an illustrator to do it. You can do it just within Lightburn. That's why I just started this out as, the hard angles, got the basic shape, and then just tweaked it. And then it looked like a handle. Anything else you want to see before hop off of here? We've got 25 minutes, 24 minutes before Clack and Ventari start. So I'll hang out for another 25 minutes if you want. If there's anything else you want me to demonstrate, I'll be happy to. This is kind of a last minute stream because I got half of a video done on this and then I got interrupted, then went to work and was gone at work a few days. I didn't finish it. I don't remember where I left off. And I thought I'll just do a live stream. That way I can cover everything, then condense it down and upload it. Might be easier than actually trying to start over and figure out where I left off on the other video. Do I have anything interesting to show you? Actually, I do. Has anybody out there? I know Kenny has. Has anybody out there saw the axe that I did that I gave to? I gave this to a guy who graduated high school on Friday, and he's already a firefighter. So I did a fire axe for him. I can pull this up here. You can see it repurposed to create a screwdriver or other tools. Funny you mentioned that. Let's see. There we go. That's exactly how I did this ball peen hammer. Cover my eyes up. So I did a ball peen hammer the same way. Works too. Okay, let me hop back over. Okay, here's the fire axe that I did. I did the best I could to get some red color in here. You'll notice that there's a distinct line where the red isn't as red, and that's where the edge of this hatchet is hardened. So where it's hardened, it has a different color than the rest of it. But I got red filled in, and then I did some blues and golds back here on this side, and then some blue, West Virginia blue gold. And the backside, I got some the very bright gold and bright blue. And then I did this cross in here. And you'll notice these scrolls, they're scrolls, but they're also flames. So they're flame shaped scrolls. Then here's the backside of it. So I took the factory coating off of this part of the handle, burn it with a torch. Then you'll see another picture here. I've put his name on it and then sprayed the whole thing with Rust-Oleum triple thick. And then I sanded off some of this red at the bottom just to kind of give it a oh, what do they call it? Weathered, not weathered, distressed look. This is I clear coated it with Rust-Oleum triple thick glaze, so it's not going to get dirty or nothing's going to happen to it because he's going to use it as a wall hanger, not a wall banger. I'm pretty sure. So it's just going to be a display piece. But he was very happy with it. Yeah, used patina, but yeah, kind of looks like it's been used and stuff. Then put up. But that was a fun project. Thought I'd share that with you since I had it handy. What's everybody else into? Hey, Tripod, how's it going? Oh, I got a couple new unboxing knives. I don't know if you saw my last unboxing video, I used an unboxing spear, but I have a couple new unboxing knives that arrived, but I'm not going to unveil those yet. They'll make their appearance in a future unboxing video. My knuckle is so sore, an insect about the size of a fly, kind of looked like a fly, but it had white spots all over it, bit me, and now I'm swollen right here, and it bit right over top of my knuckle, and now my knuckle is real sore and doesn't want to move very well. Yes, the collar on the blade was done with the fiber. Everything was done with the laser. And actually, let me pull that back up. I did not polish this axe. That's the way it came off of the laser. I used the laser to do the polishing, so it came off looking as bright as it did in the pictures. I think I actually have a picture where it was on the laser finishing up. Let's see. Yeah, I took that for proof. Actually, I got another picture I can show you too of something different. Where is it? Well, I thought I had one. I do not see it. It might be in another folder. Just give me one moment. Oh, there it is. I found it. Oh my gosh, being difficult. Mayday. Okay, here we go. Sorry. There, you can see that is there on the left side right here where the laser's hitting it. So that's the polish and the high gloss finish that I was getting off of the laser. This was in pretty bad shape once I cleaned it up. The steel was in terrible shape, but ran enough passes with the laser to smooth it out as best I could in a reasonable amount of time, and then use the laser to get that nice collar with also the bright, shiny finish. Yep, so that's where that was at. I can show you another project I did too. This one turned out really nice. So speaking of saws, this is a real saw that I bought for $1 at the flea market. And then on last week's live stream, I started engraving it with the fiber laser. So I just repainted the handle yellow, polished up the hardware, and then engraved this onto the blade. The U got into the teeth a little bit. That's because after I started, I decided to do this offset to give the dark color around the letters to make them stand out a little more. So it kind of got into that, but it still looks cool for a uh $1 saw blade. So yeah, I was happy with that too. I don't know what picture's next. Hopefully it's not something inappropriate. Oh no, just the old Ford tractor. The old Ford lawn tractor. I was going to show you a picture of. Okay, here is a piece of curly maple that I broke into different sections to engrave with the CO2 galvo. I just want you to see the depth I was able to get with this CO2 galvo. There's a Coke can for scale for how big that piece of curly maple is. There's my wife holding it up. And then all I put on this was walrus oil. And that was it, just to give it some color and bring out the grain. Yeah, I was extremely happy with that. It's so deep, it creates a nice shadow from the light there. So the reason I'm showing you guys some of this is if there's any projects or anything that you want me to do a video on or a live stream, if you have any ideas, let me know and I'll see what I can do. If I can do it, I will put something together for you. For sure. I'm done with the music videos. Did anybody see my latest lyric video? I just couldn't resist. I had to do a second song. Reason being, I always wanted to be able to search YouTube music and see something that I've made within the music, not just the videos. So now if I search light source engraving, there are two tracks that come up in YouTube music, and I think it's hilarious. Just because it's kind of no different than about 6 years ago. I got an app published on the Google Play Store so that you could download it and put it on your phone just because I always wanted to make a Google app and an Android app and have it on there. So that's what I did. So anyway, now I have a Google had a Google app on the Play Store, and I have music tracks in Google Music, YouTube Music. Why not? Jerry, thanks for sharing it. That's okay if you forgot about it. I bet you guys thought I forgot about it when you were here at the beginning, and I was like 3 minutes late. Oh my gosh, there's no way I would have lambs in the shop. They're just poop factories. Oh, it's ridiculous. Tell you what, I will it's still raining a little bit. I'll go outside, take some pictures of the lambs and post them on the channel. So watch out on the community tab. I'll post some lamb pictures. I think my wife has like 8 little ones out there now. I think there's 16 sheep, something like that, 8 lambs. Oh, and this is hilarious. We had 2 uh peacocks. One, a fox broke in and killed it. The other one, my wife opened the door just to let her out of the big cage. It's like one of the big dog pens, but we have a screened roof over it. So she let this peacock out. It came back. Then it went out again. And then it was gone. She didn't know where it was. Looked out in the field behind the house, and there's that peacock hanging out with the sheep. Now the peacock during the day stays with the sheep and eats some of the grain that they drink out of the sheep water trough. And then at night the peacock flies up into the trees, roosts, and then comes back the next day. She's always she's always out there with the sheep now. It's hilarious. You see, this herd of sheep walking around, and then one peacock walking amongst them. Who'd have thought? I'll get a picture of that too. But I am going to laser engrave inside a ring with a laserMATIC and chuck rotary. I've been wanting to do that. I've been meaning to do that. Uh, so yeah, I can get that set up. I've got a couple aluminum rings I could uh, try that with. Exactly, Steve. My wife didn't want that bird to be in the cage by itself because it was going to stress it out. And without its partner, it was already honking and making noise. So she let out, and now it's just fine hanging around with the sheep. Brass coins. We can do a brass coin video. Sounds good. Well, Clack and Ventari will be starting soon, so head to their channels, check out their stream. They start at 8 p.m. Eastern. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Steve Smith, whatever happened to the 3D wood coins I were going to do? I totally forgot about them. That's what happened. Okay, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write all these down and make sure I get to them. Because what's the point of making videos if you're not making videos for what people want to see? That's my opinion. So, all right. Kenny needs more info to get it right. Okay, I can do that. I can help out. What's up, Rich? I'm getting ready to wind this thing down because Clack and Ventari are starting at 8 p.m. So that's in about 7 minutes, and I don't want to run into their time. So I am going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Thank you all so much for joining, and uh, thank you, Edward, for the super chat. I forgot to mention that earlier. I apologize. My fault. So V and Edward, thank you so much for the super chats. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.